we've lost the spark. Like, where's the spark? And when you lose that spark, it's very hard to kickstart and find that back because you're expecting to find that old spark. So couples usually lack the skill to build a new spark.
Okay.
Because they're so overwhelmed.
How is that different from reigniting the old spark?
Reigniting the old spark comes with old expectations.
Okay.
And over, say, for 10 years, right? He's a different person, I'm a different person. And where do we build from here? I think that's a good starting point to always have.
Maybe the girl that expected flowers every week 10 years ago is not the same girl anymore today.
Yeah. Now she wants something different.
New handbag. Well, hello again. Welcome to another episode of Hot Topics, the show where we explore topics that pack more than just a little heat. We like to ask questions that maybe you have been asking with your friends, and we want to make this a platform where it's safe to ask certain questions, and we'll try to answer them as well. So, as you can see, I have two very special guests on my show. One repeat one where you have seen him many times. Kevin Lu, lead pastor of Collective. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And today we have his better half, which I'm sure he will admit as well. We have Esther
No
Koo
question
as a special guest today. She is a relationship coach, as well as one of the co-founders of Collective, this community that we have, which we recently celebrated 24 years.
Too long.
Too long, huh? Man, I think I've been on...
Exciting too.
Exciting too, man. It just passed by like that.
Yeah.
Wow. And most of you know, but I would like to think that there are new people watching as well. These guys are married.
Yes, we're married.
Yeah.
So-
Just now, when you were getting ready, I was saying, I'm very happy because today I can touch my guest. Normally, I cannot.
So if I was sitting here, you won't like pat me on the back and like, oh, bro, and like a little too awkward, no?
No.
Personal space?
Yeah. Another time.
Okay. just keep it to the light touch here.
Yes.
But yes, welcome guys to
Thank you.
today's show. Esther is a relationship coach. So today's show, we're going to be going into all things relationship.
Fun topic.
Right?
My favorite topic.
Yeah, I know relationship covers a whole lot of space, and it's a huge breadth that we can talk about because it's relationships run our lives, right?
Yeah.
We have, of course, marriage. We have romantic relationships, which will, I guess, be the whole gist of today's topic because that's your specialties. But it's also like a father and son relationship.
Yeah.
You know, we have a working relationship. Friendship is a relationship.
Yeah.
But your specialty is romantic relationships and marriage counselling and all this. What does a relationship coach do actually?
Good question.
Yeah. And we want to know your background story, your origin story.
I was on staff at Collective for many years, I think close to 15 years.
Wow.
And it wasn't my intention that, you know what, this is a career I want to step into, right? Because I was at church serving together alongside my husband. So I was doing a lot of marriage counseling, pastoral counseling. So when the pandemic hit, that is the first time when everybody went online.
Yeah.
Right? So back then, I did not have an Instagram account. So when the team members, you especially, said, okay, so we're going to go online now. So what are you going to do? Right? So that was the first time I started my Instagram account in year 2020.
When you stopped being just known as #Instagramless wife.
Yes, I was I was really concerned of letting
It was actually
that
quite
go.
popular.
Yeah. It was an identity I carried for years, and overnight I had to give up that identity and I started an Instagram account.
Okay.
Right? So I didn't understand what relationship coaching was about at all. But when I started an Instagram account, I was lost. I actually didn't know what to post. I see what other people post. They post about food, travels, and but we were all in the pandemic, right? So everybody was posting about their home. So naturally, I started posting about my marriage story, right? My parenting story, our love journey, our stories, our struggles. And it just started catching on. So people started asking me questions about relationship. So that was my first foray into relationship coaching, basically answering relationship questions.
Okay.
So from there, it just went on to solving marriage problems. So as I did more and more of it, I thought to myself, hey, maybe there's a need in this particular topic where people beyond the church, they actually don't have that pastoral care
Yep.
to help them with relationship. Who do they ask? They ask their friends, right? And what would their friends tell them? Their friends would tell them, you know what, just ditch that guy or just quit, just walk away, because their friend is thinking on their behalf,
like,
right?
cut loss.
Yeah, just get out of it. But seeing that need, that's where I place myself. So in relationship coaching, what I do is help couples build better communication, break conflict patterns, and some of those fights can get really ugly. And when it gets ugly, it goes unresolved, they get stuck. So that is what I do to help couples get unstuck and build better relationships and be happier
Okay.
at home.
And it's been how many years? I remember the conversation we had. It was in an Airbnb in KL. We were having our leadership offsite, and you actually shared with us that this is something you were considering
Yeah.
going into. And was that 2020, 2021?
2020.
2020.
So it's been 5 years
5 years.
already.
Wow.
And from Instagramless wife to today, how many followers do you have right now?
I just hit 24,000.
24,000 followers in 5 years. Pastor Kevin, that's more than you, right?
Shut up. I'm 18.8. And I have spent my whole life building that. Oh my God. Whatever. happens.
You didn't start as
So the day
Instagramless
I
husband.
crossed
So.
that,
man.
the day I crossed that mark, I texted him. I said, "Babe,
I beat you.
yeah,
Humbled. Happily
Yeah,
humbled.
So we know who's the popular one, okay?
Yeah.
All right. But Pastor Kevin,
Yes.
knowing Esther's journey, what was it like for you in the early days, knowing that she wanted to go into this? Was it like, should you not? Or you're like, come on, Han, and that's why you call her, right, Han?
Yeah.
Let's just do this, this is what you're meant to do. And
I think, yeah, in the beginning, I was really the one that challenged her to go all out doing it. We have been doing this so much in church, but the world out there probably never had a platform to have somebody talk to them or help them, guide them, help them see a different angle, what they were facing. So I thought Esther was going to be really beneficial to them. So I really pushed her out. But I want to say this, but after she started doing it, she's very competitive. I'm not.
no, okay, all right. So, yeah.
I am not. So she works so hard. She works so hard day and night. I kind of like flow usually. So I'm happy to see all that hard work. It's now coming to fruition. Things are happening. People look for her, and people were to ask, "Do you know of anyone that can help?" A friend of mine that is in a relationship problem. More often than not, I will hear them say, "Oh, you can try Esther." Also, she's quite a pioneer in Malaysia doing this. There's not too many other people.
In fact, today I just replied someone's DM asking the same question.
Yes, and that person also told me about it. And she asked another person. The other person also told her Esther. So I thought, wow, it's a good work you have done. Perfect
you.
timing for today's
Hence
recording.
the number of followers that's so much more than yours.
Yes.
So it's been quite a journey.
Yeah.
What was it like in the beginning? Like, how do you even become a relationship coach?
Of course, I started with imposter syndrome.
Okay.
I didn't feel like I was the right person or I was good enough. So I just started with helping that one person. From that one person became 2% to 5%, and then it just grew from there. The journey is tough because I came from a church background. So marriage counselling is part of my work at church. Okay?
Yeah.
As a partner of a pastor, it's part of my work. So I was very clear from the start that if I'm going to do this 100%, I got to build a whole new community that will pay for it, that is beyond the church. So I made it very clear, if it's church members, you know what? It's free. Just find me.
Till today?
Every Sunday, you come see me, you can just ask me questions. You book my time, right? But I have no community. So Instagram was my only community beyond church. I work very hard. I learned marketing, I learned copywriting, I learned how to close a sale just to reach a circular market, which I felt maybe that's a place that God has led me into.
Yep.
And doors started opening. By now, on Instagram, I think people don't really know I'm a pastor's wife, which is my intention because I want to be neutral.
Yeah.
If they ever open up a conversation about God, That's my entry point. But other than that, I had to upskill because I cannot use the Bible to bash them now. Like, you know what does God say about marriage, right? Like, what does God say about forgiveness? I cannot. People out there, they struggle with forgiveness. They struggle with resentment.
Yeah.
They struggle with the self. Like, why should I do this if you're not doing it? So I have to upskill, learn tools, learn new skills to how to coach people who are not Christians. So it was tough.
So was it a lot of? I'm sure there are a lot of self-learning, whether you consume them, the materials by yourself or from your experiences. But was there like a certification process or things like that?
Yeah, so I went through a certification as a start, just to let people know, hey, I'm a certified relationship coach. But nobody asked me whether I'm certified, actually.
Yeah.
Interestingly,
Yeah.
nobody.
As long as you can solve their problem.
As long as I can solve their problem. A common DM I get in my Instagram is, hey, Esther, I've been following you for a while now. I've decided, right? So
Yeah,
then
yeah.
that begins the conversation. But as I started doing cases after cases, I realized what the people really need. And a lot of times it's personal development. That is when I went on to get more certification to help with personality profiling, strengths and different things to just help them understand what they're really struggling with. So it broadened my scope of work.
Yeah.
Cool.
We will get into those as well, but because you brought it up, I think we had this conversation even ourselves.
Yeah.
And again, we want to be transparent as well in this show. That was a problem in the beginning where, so now if I see Esther, I have to pay money because she's a relationship coach right now, whereas previously she was one of the leaders in church.
Yeah.
And there was this dilemma, not just with you, but even with Pastor Kevin and even with Pastor Keith.
Yep.
How do you, like you said, you draw that line very clear right now. You say, okay, if you're a church member, it is free. And wouldn't that be very exploitative and people will take advantage of that? Or
Okay.
like, how do you handle that?
Okay, I think the way we do it is that usually when church members they probably ask random questions or just a thought. So maybe it's just a one-off. But if they want to be a bit more serious and get into a program, then we will let them know, okay, this is also part of our work. We're not paid by the church now, but this is also our job. If you have questions, you want to hang out, you want to have a cup of coffee, talk to us, fine. We will help you, we'll give you our best. But if you want to embark on a program, I think it's also right that you pay us because we are offering you like a full
It's a
system.
professional service.
Yeah, professional service and really helping you. And that really helped us. In the beginning, it was hard. It was hard. Like, people don't know whether they can talk to us. But knowing that, we take the initiative to talk to people first, to make sure that they're okay, and straight up tell them, hey, I'm not trying to close you. I just want to make sure that you're okay. Is your business doing good or whatever it is? But after doing this, we find something very interesting about people in the church world. When we were doing this as lead pastors and it's free, we actually don't spend a lot of time counseling. We spend a lot of time waiting. So say an appointment is 2:00. Husband and wife promise to come and see us. They come 1 hour late. For some reasons. Maybe they were fighting, maybe she was not happy. And then when they come, we have to wait a good 15-20 minutes before they start talking because they were so upset with each other. And then after that, they kind of like, okay lor, show you face, come and listen to you. And then they go back. And after many rounds of doing that, we really find that it's not a very good use of our time. So at one point, I actually got really upset with one of them. I said, actually, why do you come? In fact, it is I who want you to change more than you want to change. And yet you are willing to come here and let me nag at you, scold you even. So it's actually very confusing. After Esther started doing this, every now and then I'll ask her, anybody came late? Nobody.
Because time is money now.
Yep.
Yes. How many people have you talked to? How many clients? You have 300?
350 different individuals
Wow.
I've talked to now.
So on a weekly basis, averagely, how many clients do you see on a weekly basis?
On a busy season, so there are busy seasons in
okay.
relationship. Start of the year
Durian
is
season.
busy season because new resolution.
Yeah, okay,
I
they
can't
wanna
live
work
with this
on-
anymore.
okay.
Right? So those sometimes I could max out in a week. It could be 10 to 15, right? Of course, an hour each. But because they're on time and then they come prepared and everything, it is not as tiring as like counseling 10 different church members
Yep.
in that same week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the common struggle. Paid
It
and
sounds like
free.
a gym, you know. The busy season is the early part of the year
Yeah,
because
same,
everyone
same.
is, and then people hire a personal trainer and they show up on time and they work on it more, maybe for a month.
Yeah.
And after that,
And after
they
that,
drop out.
all the way downhill.
Do you find that happening as well? Like people pay for it and they are so into it, but after a while they kind of like, you know.
Yes. And then some will start texting me 2 years later.
I still have one more session.
They were MIA, and then you can't find them, they don't reply. And suddenly, 2 years later, hey Esther, actually how many more sessions do I have? I want to see you. So humans, right? I think when you have that pain, then you want to fix it. But when there's no pain, you just let it be.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's normal.
Wow. And you've been doing this even from the very beginning, like you said, as lead pastors, you've been doing relationship counseling and all. And how many years has that been already, you know, in addition to your years as a professional coach? So cumulatively, how many years have you been dealing with these problems?
We're married 20 years
Okay.
now. About 18 to 20 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Since
But early days problems are not so complicated.
yeah, it wasn't
Maybe just
marriage
courtship,
problem. Yeah, it was courtship.
dating in college.
Yeah, because I mean, at that time, of course, your market so-called was more just church,
Yeah.
and we was just teenagers.
Yes. Yeah.
Girlfriend didn't text back
Yeah,
or whatever. Or boyfriend didn't remember her birthday, and or boyfriend spoke to another girl, and
Very experienced.
yeah, you know. I guess you still face these problems today as well.
Yeah.
But it's more of a younger age clientele, church members, right?
Yeah.
So, right now, as a professional, do you see, other than this whole honoring of time and being more serious because they paid for it, what are the differences compared to when you were just counseling from a pastoral perspective?
When I was counseling from a professional side of things, and when people pay for it, they are very truthful.
Oh,
They're open, vulnerable, truthful. But as I compare it to pastoral counseling, I think most times actually, I don't really know the truth.
okay. Just pause here. Have these people been the same people also or not? Like, they were from the church, but they decided to engage you professionally, and then because they engage you professionally, somehow they treat it differently.
Yes.
Or is it just totally different people?
Some is in that category, but I'm talking about totally different
Okay.
people, right?
Yeah.
In general, when people pay for it, because they really want to work through something, and they don't know me because technically we're strangers.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a third party. I
Yeah.
don't know their background.
Yeah.
They're not gonna see me on a Sunday. They are more open.
Yeah, because I think that would be the problem. It's
Yes.
like I put all my dirty laundry out in front of you, and I see you next Sunday.
Yeah,
Hey!
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
like, yeah.
Actually, that is going to be not just us. It's going to be every other church problem because we met clients who the wife engaged Esther because the wife didn't know she's pastor's wife. Then when I came, because they wanted to see both of us, the husband, oh, you're Pastor Kevin. So you can see the face change, the tone change,
Yeah.
the whole conversation
Yeah.
change. Yeah.
And I didn't expect to get into this quite early in the conversation, but
Might as
since
well.
we are talking about this, I think confidentiality is a problem. Confidentiality is a problem because I just had this conversation, pretty much just had this conversation where I have friends who have been going through marriage issues and all, and they don't talk to any leader because, that could be one factor. I see you, I don't want you to, I feel ashamed.
Yep.
I don't want you to know my problems. And also they're afraid because maybe they have been recipients of stories of other couples that have gone around. And now that, you know what, I don't want to be the next couple whose stories get spread around.
Yeah.
And that unfortunately, is one of the things that we face.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a small community like church, you see the same people, you have friendships, and say if I'm their leader and they look up to me, sometimes it's very embarrassing to be really telling your leader, hey, you know, I'm really rubbish at home.
Yeah.
I'm this, and my wife is complaining about me in this manner. It's hard. That's why when people engage a third party, someone they don't know, they can be so truthful because it's a different kind of relationship.
Yep.
You don't have to juggle that friendship and that pastoral relationship for the rest of the weeks after that.
But the sad thing is, or the worrying thing is, would it be also the role of a pastor and a church leader to also help members through those. And if this is such an obstacle, how do we go about it then?
Yeah.
Okay, the thing is, from a church setting, of course, there's the Bible. There's the word that God says about marriage and everything. They know all this knowledge. So it also makes it complicated when they come talk to you because they know what you're going to say to them, what the Bible is going to tell you,
Yeah.
how to do with your marriage and everything. So hence sometimes they find it, maybe there's no point to just tell you the real truth. Just tell, because sometimes the struggles could be really sinful.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's until they have such trust with you, they could just tell you, you know what, I really fail on this and I just need help. There are people like that, but generally, if they're just seeking for general advice or just certain conflict problem, it's hard to get that deep into it because they know what the Bible says about some of these things.
So after doing this, I'm quite aware people will find it very hard to talk to me too from our own church because one couple, the wife actually said, my husband called me names and I know the husband and the husband is like a worship leader in church. So then he will feel uncomfortable. He'll be like, oh, so now this pastor guy knows what happened at my home. Will he tell my pastor that I cannot lead worship anymore? Right? Or other stuff that was happening. Yeah, it's tricky. There's no quick solution. Of course, ideally, if a church is big enough, everyone can find different ones that they can trust to talk to and not just the pastor. It's easier, but otherwise, a neutral person will make them a lot more comfortable to share some of their deepest cry and need to a counselor or a therapist or a coach for that matter.
Yeah. Like I said, we may not have all the answers,
Nope.
but it's definitely an issue that I guess we are always trying to help and solve along the way as well.
Yeah.
Having done this for so many years, both individually as well as a couple, as leaders of the church, what are the common threads that you see in a lot of these relationship problems that you help to try to solve?
Complacency.
Complacency, okay.
Right? Especially the longer the marriage, the more complacent a person becomes because life is overwhelming, right? Of course, we are expected to be successful. Then go home, we need to show up. Then we got kids like pulling our hair, and then we got to be able to provide. Then we got elderly parents maybe. So after a while, the person that you tend to not focus on, it could be your spouse, right? The partner, because you see them every day. Let's just get everything done and move forward. So in long-term relationships, a lot of times people get complacent and they get to a point where they forget to build that friendship to keep the spark and the intimacy. That's why people always say, we've lost the spark. Like, where's the spark? And when you lose that spark, it's very hard to kickstart and find that back because you're expecting to find that old spark. So couples usually lack the skill to build a new spark.
Okay.
Because they're so overwhelmed.
And how is that different from reigniting the old spark?
Reigniting the old spark comes with old expectations.
Okay.
And over, say, for 10 years, right? He's a different person, I'm a different person. And where do we build from here? I think that's a good starting point
Because
to always have.
maybe the girl that expected flowers every week 10 years ago is not the same girl anymore today.
Yeah, now she wants something different.
A new handbag.
All right?
Oops.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
wow.
And people don't see that their partner have become a different person because that's not something you talk about every single day, right? Like, you know what, I'm different now.
And these are things that you only realize after you look back.
Yeah.
You're like, man. And maybe we don't even realize how we ourselves have changed until we examine our own life or maybe someone tells us what they observe. And
But it's interesting, what a marriage or a relationship has changed after 10 years, it's also a lot of the upbringing, expectation that we developed from when we were younger, seeing our parents, that does not change. So you have one element that is changing because your world has changed, your surrounding has changed. But there's also that deep, not desire, it's a pattern that you develop seeing your parents. It is very difficult to articulate that you actually behave exactly how your dad has been behaving, right? Then that's when
And the older you get, the more you realize, man, I'm becoming like my dad.
Yeah.
Or I am my dad. Or my mom, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. So helping couples to see that, and okay, maybe we watch a lot of shows or whatever, or read a lot of books and keep trying to tell us, don't be that, change. So I feel sometimes there's a part that we got to celebrate that and take ownership of that. Because if you cannot celebrate, you cannot take ownership. You cannot take ownership, you cannot really deal with it. So yeah, there are certain things that I'm exactly like my dad, but yeah, that's my dad. Is it good? Yeah, I celebrate it. If there's part that I need to change, then I have to admit that, yes, this is exactly how my dad used to behave. I want to take ownership of that and change it. So it's a tension of something that is changing all the time, and that's something that just won't change. It's so stubborn. And we got to identify that in a relationship. Then, I mean, the wife will know that she will have the same issues too. Just to identify what areas are there so that they can actually find it a common space to talk about it and sometimes laugh about it,
Yeah.
so that they can grow and not to belittle or make fun of each other. Yeah.
So just hearing this, well, of course, for those of you who do not know, I'm not married, so it's going to come from a very theoretical and imaginary perspective. Complacency is a problem. How to solve it? Don't be complacent, right?
I was thinking.
Well, go for date nights, or prioritize your spouse. And it sounds so simple.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't work.
Yeah. So it
Never
sounds so
work.
simple, right? And that's what people imagine. Complacency, then just don't be complacent. What tools do you then give, or what steps do you help them take?
When a couple is complacent and then no more spark and they end up, right, stale marriage and they go for a date, that's the worst, because in that 2 hours...
They'll be checking their phone.
Yeah, you're
It's
checking
like,
your phone, you have nothing to
can't wait
talk
for it to be
about.
over.
Yeah. And I hear this from couples a lot that is so...
Oh,
It's so
man.
draining.
So that was also how you advise them initially, like, hey, go
I
for
will
date
never,
night,
yeah,
or
I will never tell them to go date night, whatever, but I actually help them build on themselves first.
okay.
My first question would be, are you an interesting person at this point of your life? Right? Most of the time, they're stuck at
Pro,
that.
bro, pro.
Man,
Yeah.
wow, it's double whammy right now. Firstly, my marriage is not working well. Secondly, oh man, I'm a boring person. It's like,
Yeah, and that's a reality that they have to realize.
I'll just kill me.
Yeah, because if they don't realize that and they think, okay, yeah, we need to go date night, right? Spend more time. It's worse because you really have nothing to talk about.
Wow.
Yeah. So, are you an interesting person?
Okay.
So, if you're not, what do you need to do? To learn new things, have a new hobby, pursue something new, get excited about life again. Because naturally, when we're excited about something, we can't wait to talk to our partner about it.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this
Yeah,
movie
you
that I
know what?
watched,
Yeah.
like.
Yep.
So can you share, of course, maintaining privacy, a case where you dealt with that exhibited these factors, and how did they overcome it, or maybe they didn't overcome it, or can you is there a story?
Recently, I met a couple who are maybe in their 50s. So now it's one day, right? They've been so complacent, they realize, actually, we have no more spark. So what ignited it was when the wife started to be emotionally connected with a colleague, because she finds him very interesting.
Ah,
right? A
okay.
lot of things to talk about. Then every time she gets home, she finds her husband just boring, nothing to talk about. So then that ignited the husband to, hey, how come you don't talk to me? Always text your friend. So they went through this whole thing, and he wanted her to stop. But I had to get him to stop and actually reflect, how is he leading the marriage? Because you can't be blaming on your wife that, why is she doing this? It's not right in the eyes of God, right? She should be, which is true. But is there a part that you need to work on to build back that connection?
So in a way, you're saying, I mean, would that be defined as emotionally cheating?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's call it that, all right? Emotionally cheating. And it's still her responsibility. And maybe the husband didn't cause it, but how have you contributed
Yeah.
Yeah.
to her? Because in a sense, although it's husband and wife, you can't control whether she texts or not. What you can control is how you change yourself.
Yep.
And so what happened next to this
So what
couple?
happened next wasn't easy, because the more he saw her text and then very happy talking to the other person, the more he became insecure, needy, and
And that's more of a turn-off.
Yes. So
Man,
they
double
were
whammy.
so they were in those
Spiral.
sessions, and for her, she was very honest. She said, "Hey, there's this spark here, definitely, but I'm not stepping in. I've talked to the person, and we're not entering the relationship. But there's that close friendship, there's that connection. But I'm here every day. I'm here 8 hours with you at home." Right, I'm here, but every time you complain to me is that 5 minutes I hold my phone and text my friend and talk about it. So they had to rework a lot of the mindset, and he had to build back his self-confidence. So that's why it's not just a marriage issue; it's a personal issue too. Now that it got ignited because he saw the wife having an attention from somewhere else, he started putting all the attention in the wife.
Yeah, this is interesting because if we come from just a purely pastoral or church world perspective, a lot of times is, hey, that's wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
Stop.
Yep.
That's sin, or that's playing with fire. That's like, stop. And principally, that's correct. But then we don't give tools. We don't give steps of, hey, you know what? That's not right. Let's try to overcome it with these steps.
Actually, it's very interesting that you brought this up. When we first started doing this, we realized in the Christian community, we have the answers but no tools. We know what's right, what's wrong, but we have no tools. But in the world out there, they seemingly have the answer, but they don't. But they have the tools. They have tools because the seemingly correct answer is wrong. So the tools are wrong. Like, not happy, divorce, it's okay. So we go our separate way because their answer is just happiness. It's not fulfillment. It's not serving one another. So going back to after Esther has done this, and we have done so many sessions together, going back to the church community, we realize what they are short of is the tools of how to make it happen. Because we are guilty. Like, if you come to us and you have a problem, okay, man, after we talk to you, we tell you what's right and what's wrong, what's in the scripture. Okay, pray. You should be fixed by then. It's like a prescription. 2 tablets in the morning, 1 at night, you'll be good. But we realize that's missing. What Esther just shared is so important. I have a client, it's a coaching client. He wanted to become a team leader. He wants to recruit people to join his team. But you look at his life, he's so boring. He has got no energy, and he focused on all the wrong thing. And he keep asking me, how do I recruit more people? I said, tell me what you're good at. Tell me what you like. And he loves badminton. I said, why don't you build badminton, your group? And by the way, his group has got really good people. And from there, right, he suddenly found, I changed. He told me himself, I changed. I'm so much happier now. I said, that's correct. Because if you try to solve the problem by solving the problem, like what you say, don't be complacent. Be intentional. If life is really that easy, then there'll be world peace everywhere. But it isn't. So to help him find back what he's passionate about actually makes him more attractive to bring people into his team so that he can exhibit his leadership qualities, his ability to solve problems and gather people. It's a very important part in our lives, something that we all have to learn.
So drawing to a close, what happened to the couple?
They're still working on it.
Okay.
Because what I got them to do is to hear each other's commitment on what they're committed to doing. So I think that helped him feel more secure that he has to work on it. But of course, every other day he will have those haunting thoughts of what the wife is doing. I think that's the part he has to. I've given him the tools to work on how you focus on the things that give you joy, right? What matters to you, how you show up as a man to lead. Because he's not a Christian, right? So you can't tell him, you know what, read the Word of God. Let God heal you. They won't get it. So it's still work in progress. Yeah.
So this thing, right? Being a man, lead the relationship. And I've been in the church world for a long time as well.
Yeah.
I don't get as many relationship issues coming to me for obvious reasons. Not being married and all. But I've heard the same things over and over again. Why is the guy not leading? I broke up with him. Why? He's not leading me. There's always this very typical line that the girl will always say until a point where I question, is that just a cop-out kind of thing, But some of the situations, I know the guy, so yeah, I think it's quite true.
Yeah.
the guy is not leading me. How often do you hear that, and how prevalent is that problem? Maybe we start with the church community first.
Yeah. I think usually, right, when there is a complaint, it is usually exaggerated to get attention. So there definitely is a problem. So recently somebody asked me the same question. I think growing up, right, between a boy and a girl of the same age, you will find the girl start to talk first, way ahead more than the boys. So in many areas of life, the girls develop. I don't want to make it like I generalize everybody, but there is a pattern. Girls develop, or in our society we call it the girl mature faster.
Yep.
You hear that?
I mean, that's what we learn as well
Yeah,
in
right?
biology growing up.
Yes. Then the boys take a bit longer. They're not growing. They are developing. It's just not as obvious as the girls. So when that happens, if the both of them are the same age, very often you will hear girls say, "Hey, Kysern, my boyfriend's not leading me. What am I going to do?" So I evaluated based on after hearing this, Esther and I want to say I'm a very lucky person, lucky man. While we started our relationship and then we first got married, and when we started we had nothing. We were so bare minimal, basic, just trying to scrape by every month. One outstanding thing about my wife is she never complained that I'm not good enough. I don't know, I asked her, did she see that I was growing or what? But she just continually gave me space and time. There was no promise that when we started our church with 30 people, there was no assurance that this is going to become a big church or become prominent or anything, So she just kept waiting for me, and then I grew. So I think if the girls know that they are growing or developing faster, the men that they choose to be with, they will get there. And when they get there, they will shine.
But just touching on that, the issue is, there's a different rate of growth.
Yeah.
However, this kind of like, this usually ceases to be a problem after a certain age. But I'm hearing this from couples in their like late 20s and 30s even, having this issue as well. Wouldn't the males have caught up by then in terms of maturity, in terms of growth?
I think at the different season and different male, they struggle differently. Not everyone would have caught up, or maybe they have done something and now they want to try something else. They want to move on to something else. It's like a new thing again. The girl will think that it is not stable.
Yeah.
You're not.
I have a thought about this actually.
Yeah.
That's why I asked within the church community context first, because I think growing up, a lot of girls would have seen male leaders on the stage.
Yeah.
And they have a certain idea
True.
of what an ideal guy would look like or be like or speak like, and will be leading teams and will articulate, pastoral, but for all they know, maybe this guy is quite crappy, off stage,
Yeah.
But they don't know. There's an image and there's an ideal. And growing up in church, being a very impressionable teenager, growing up into adulthood, and if your partner is not like that, I think there will tend to be that comparison. Do you think this is a factor?
Yeah, for sure.
I think probably 10 years ago, I probably hear this complaint from maybe 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds. But of late, you're right. I've been hearing this complaint that, how come there's no man in church that could lead me? They're in their 20s, right? And I was thinking back in my 20s.
We got think so much.
Yeah, what were we doing? So that's why I was laughing, because my tip is, that's why start dating when you are young. But when you're too young, you have all this restriction from leaders. So a lot of things come to play, right? When they are in the 18 or 19-year-old and then they want to date, and then their leader tell them, you know what, have you thought about this guy?
Yeah.
And then they start to panic. Oh yeah, maybe. So then as they grow older and older, they become more and more particular.
They have their requirements.
And the requirement keep growing. After a while, we always joke at this, right? The list is like, only Jesus can fulfill that list, right?
Maybe he can't as well.
He can. Has to exceed God.
So then my thought is, because I coach a lot of high achieving women too, and their relationships are very interesting.
Okay.
They know their place where they know they're the leader. They also want to lead, right? That's why they thrive at business and at work. So the guys that they attract are a different type. Usually they are the stable ones, very secure, could be boring, but maybe a home guy, just very steady, and it works too. So there are many phases of leadership. I think to help some of these people struggling with thinking there's no man in church to lead is to redefine what leadership look like. It's not just that public speaker or that that leader leading groups, but it could be that stable guy who's leading his own life well, right? He could save money, he works hard, he takes care of his parents. That's great quality. And if you can open up your eyes and to start building friendships around and start noticing some of these most boring guys, they're actually the safest guys to be with.
If a couple is not willing to grow together, that's the end of the story. Because, right, I think if, regardless of whether it's a guy or a girl that complains, you're not like the leader that I expect you to be, the man that is in front of the church, or the woman as prescribed in Proverbs 31. Right?
Classic.
Right? So I think we are actually not drawn to the person. We're drawn to the finished
ideal.
product. We're drawn to an ideal that we want. But we like to claim trust the process, this universal thing that to trust the process. But actually you are not. I just want Kysern to be the finished product. I want Esther to be the finished product. And but then you have to ask yourself, are you the finished product? If you keep demanding the other party is not the finished product, then if you recognize that you are not, then why don't we just take this journey of just growing together? I mean, there's so much to discover. I don't know what will happen 5 years down the road, but I'm excited because Esther and I, we're going to discover that together. I don't want me now as the finished product.
Yeah.
Because that would be really sad. Because
And
I'm done. I'm done. I'm over.
So I have a question, right? The common complaint from single girls is, how come there's no man that could lead me? So from a man's perspective, what would be your complaint be and why are you still single? Because your complaint wouldn't be, how come there's no girl that could lead me? It's not that, right? So what would your
I think this is where the show ends
complaint
today.
be? Maybe they want to hear from a single man's perspective.
I knew this was coming up.
Because whatever we're talking, we're just theory, right? And like, you're so good lah. You both are married now. Like, where you? But
I'm
Dead.
man. Of course, I'll try to be as honest and open as possible. But I don't think I speak for everyone, every guy. I've just had a few relationships that didn't work out. It's not that there wasn't. And unfortunately, they just never worked out. Some were in our community, some were not in our community.
Yep.
And I often reflect back actually and came to a point where I did wonder like, man, am I that bad? Don't answer.
wait, you broke it off or they dumped you?
Both have happened before.
Okay, so it's not 100% true that you're bad because there's certain ones. you dump.
I would say majority is I was the one that broke it off.
Okay.
But even that also like, how come? I don't know. And a lot of times, even in previous relationships, the way we argue, the way we quarrel, and the way things have played out, that's why I say it's quite scary sometimes looking back. I see certain patterns that are not very healthy that maybe reflect how my dad was with my mom. And of course, no perfect couple, right? They have both had healthy and unhealthy traits. And I did see certain unhealthy traits that I have caught growing up, the way I talk, the way I just communicate. And growing up, these things, that's all you know is normal.
Yeah.
You never really thought about it. And then even right now, when I know some of the ways that I do this, I don't want to be like that. But in the heat of the moment, that's when things that are so ingrained in you just snaps.
Yep.
After you realize, oh man, this is where I need to say sorry again. So that's part of my reflection growing up as well, and also being through quite a few relationships. So why am I still single?
Yeah.
So I don't know, really, honestly. Guess it's not the right time, right person, but even that again, that could be a cop-out answer. But what I'm trying to say is, there were attempts, just didn't work out.
So yours, based on what you just say, right, is that you have no complaint about the girls. It just didn't work out, right?
I think for my case, the way it didn't work out was, I can't put a generalization to it.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's because church girls are like that. No,
Yeah.
I don't have that. I didn't face that personally. So that's why I said I can't speak for everyone.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that's where sometimes the struggle is, because for men, it is really okay to be single and maybe eventually, hopefully not, get married at 60 years old. You're not going to do that, right? No.
Oh, that's a very Hollywood way of doing things, but
Right?
okay.
But
Brad
for
Pitt?
a woman, it is hard.
Yeah.
And that
of
is
course.
a reality they
Yeah,
have
this is
to
a reality,
face.
right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a reality, because at some point, maybe if they want kids, they're limited, right?
Yeah.
Or they come to a place where, you know what, it's fine, I'm just single. But there's still that fear that I will be alone
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
So how do you help these individuals who speak to you? These girls, these
I would
women?
definitely tell them to find someone that you are willing to grow up together, not just growing old. It's a really good place to start. But if we are constantly looking for the end product and like a quick fix, it's going to be very, very disappointing. I wish, of course, I would love to believe that I'm way better now than 20 years ago when we started. I'm not just talking about where we are in life. I'm talking about how we communicate, how truthful I am to my wife, how I can be vulnerable to her at home. But that's growing up together.
Yeah.
It's not, marriage is not all sparks and
Yeah, and it was
romantic.
actually one of those struggles that I have faced before, because even growing up, in wanting to improve ourselves, hey, let's communicate better. I have experience where the other party may not want to do so. Because I come from a standpoint where, hey, I may not be doing this the best, but I did want to grow. But maybe the timing and I mean, a lot of factors, right? It could be just emotional as well. And I don't know. I really don't know. So yeah, I think that's a very important point, that are we able to commit to each other's growth? And that will include a lot of uncomfortable
Yep.
seasons and moments.
Yep.
And at every season, like if you're hitting, say, your late 30s, your 40s, and you're still single, you got to understand the partner that you're looking for. You're actually looking for a companion more than when you're in your 20s. You want that romantic partner who do life with you. But of course, it's doing life, but the friendship or the relationship is different when you're in your 40s. And that is something I think that individual has to recognize on what are they looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And if they're actually looking for a great companion that's fun, maybe someone younger is fine, because you're looking for a companion.
Yeah, a lot of times, I mean, you kind of know what you want out of life already, for
Yeah.
the most part, and you have a certain vision of the kind of life that you hope to be at also in 10 and 20 years from now.
Yeah.
And you will also have a lot of principles that have guided you throughout those years, whether you know them or not.
Yep.
You definitely have them.
Yeah. True.
How important are shared values in a couple?
Important.
Important.
So important. And one of the very important value is shared faith. It's very hard to talk about certain things if you cannot agree on a value that we are working towards together. It's like two person rowing a boat. One row this way, the other
Yeah.
one row that way.
Yeah.
You'll forever be doing something,
Yeah.
but you're also forever there.
Yeah, because this is one of the real life issues that even I have encountered and have spoken and tried to help someone with as well, in terms of shared values, shared principles, and we talk about our church community, a shared faith.
Yes.
How is it like for someone, a Christian, to be with a non-Christian? And I know it's a controversy
Yep.
that we have been embroiled in as well. We have had blessing ceremonies for marriages between a Christian and a non-Christian in our community.
Yeah.
It's something that we want to talk about as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pastor Kevin, if you can just go there.
I at the foundation of our community of faith, we want everybody to know shared faith, shared value should not be something that is compromised. Because you want to raise your children in a certain way. If mom has one direction and dad is another direction, the kids are going to grow up torn apart. They are not going to know which one to follow. It will be a competition. Like the dad wants the child to go here, and then the mom wants the child to go there. So principally, we want our community to understand that this shared faith should not be compromisable. And that's clear, all right?
Yep.
Biblically teaching, none of us will say, yeah, go for someone, that is not of the same faith. No, we won't. But what actually is not answered is what if they are already together?
Yeah.
They're already getting married.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
In most cases, churches don't want to do anything with them, right? They want them to, okay, you cannot get married in church. You figure out yourself. To me, this is most un-Christ-like. Say this is our members' kids, grew up in our church, grew up, maybe they found out, maybe they did something wrong, or maybe they got involved in this relationship, or maybe they never, it was just someone they like, but the person just is not of the same faith. The question is, as a pastor, what do? I will bless them purely because with the end in mind that I create a bridge for the spouse that is non-believing to know that they can always step foot back into this community of faith. We're not judging them. The door's always open. So if already happened, this is what I will do. Man, I have gotten a lot of stick for
Yeah, because it's seen as a compromise on what we believe in. It's a compromise of our stand just to keep the numbers, just to keep the members.
Yeah.
It looks like that.
Yeah, because then it's kicking them out a solution as well. Because once you don't marry them, you ask them to figure out yourself, then it creates that thing in the community, Kysern is an outcast now because his wife is not a Christian. And it will be so hard for you, your faith is intact, it's not a problem. But say, if your wife is not a Christian, or the husband is not a Christian, they will hate coming to church. They will think that we're hypocrite. We preach love and forgiveness and acceptance and restoration and redemption. In actual practice, the moment I am not of the same faith, you don't even look at me the same. So I just want to be able to become, yes, I know the sentiment will be we are compromising, but I just want to make sure that the door is always open for them to come back.
I've actually had a friend ask me, and this was before she got married. So she's Christian,
Yep.
husband is non-Christian. But before she got married, another friend told her, your marriage will not be blessed by God. So she asked me, is that true? Ask me, right, single guy. Okay, come on. So I said, I think it depends on how you look at blessing.
Yeah.
If I just change the word to benefits, it's true. If you marry someone who is not of the same faith, even if you marry someone who doesn't share the same values, you definitely will not get the same benefits
Yeah.
as marrying someone who shares the same value.
For sure.
So what more marrying someone who is not of the same faith? So in that sense, yes, you will not actually experience that blessing of a full Christian marriage.
Yeah.
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 But does it mean that you will not be blessed by God? Like just generally, does it mean that there's no hope for your marriage? I think that's the condemnation part.
Correct.
that People may have unintentionally attached to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which we want to make clear as well. Yes, you will not. I mean, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Say if you marry two persons, one loves cars and just involved in cars, is an F1 driver. The partner hates cars, can't stand around engine sound. It's
gonna be tough.
Some things you're gonna
Yeah.
have to compromise a lot. It's the same thing.
But it's actually this entire concept of a Christian marriage too, right? Oh, sorry, Christian wedding.
Yeah.
Actually, the issue is actually the wedding part first. Say, God forbid, say one of our boys marry a non-Christian girl. Say, okay, you cannot marry in church. But will we not pray for them at home? am I not the father that can release a blessing for them so that my future daughter-in-law will one day come to the saving grace of Jesus? I would want the best for her too.
Yep.
I cannot tell her I love her, but I don't tell her about God, and I don't give her the blessing. And so sometimes it's all intermixed. Like what you say, the condemnation and not willing to just see that they can have a potential to come to faith.
Yeah, because growing up, there's also always this part of, oh, you know what? Do you treasure and care more for your relationship rather than honoring God?
Yeah.
And then like, oh, you know what? I want to honor God, so I break it up, even though we've been together for 10 years. And wow, after I honor God, and then, oh, God bless me with someone, and I can't even imagine right now, even happier. So we've heard stories like
Then
that as
what
well.
if the person break up with eventually came to know Jesus?
I don't know.
You get what I mean?
You know what I'm
This is
talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I think we should do what we can do and let God do what only God can do. What happened eventually, God, if the essence of God is love, then God will want to restore them. Unless you think that God is angry, God cannot wait to destroy you if you disobey Him. Because if that's the case, it's not just wedding. All of us would have been destroyed by God long time ago, right? So behind all this, I think the motives, the intention is really, really important in when we talk about wedding and marriages. It used to be if your wife that you're marrying, they found out that she's not a virgin, she cannot wear a white gown. Man, can you imagine, Kysern, your bride?
Oh, she wore like off-white.
Blue. But so who did she
Yeah.
why do we actually go so all out to embarrass somebody in the name of protecting God? God doesn't need our protection. God is way more gracious than that. And God just told the woman that was caught in adultery, sin no more. Jesus did not shame her. Jesus just embraced her and said, go and sin no more. Don't do it again. Right? So it's based on all these values that I make decisions like that in our church.
Oh.
Yeah.
And interestingly, our colleague, Pastor Keith, I think he shared this story with me that is a Christian couple, okay? So now this one is same faith problem.
Yep.
But as they were doing the marriage counselling part, they realized they don't have same values,
yeah.
right? So eventually, of course, things didn't turn out. One of them just broke it off.
Yeah.
One of them end up hating him for ruining their marriage, but the other one is forever grateful to him for saving his sanity, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like a
Yeah.
one thing fix all kind of a thing.
Yeah. Speaking of breaking a couple apart, in your experience, has there ever been a moment where, I'm not going to married couples here, where you say, you know what, I think it's better if you divorce. I think it's better if you live separately. Has that come to a point where, I know it's always a struggle because coming from our faith background, we definitely want to keep a couple intact as much as we can because, again, we believe God is a God of redemption. There's nothing too great for God to fix and things like that. But has there ever come a point in time where, I think you're just better off separated?
Yes, when the spouse is constantly just cheating, blatantly cheating, and asking the wife to wait for him while he decide who he wants.
Wow.
And he's continuously, so this thing
Yeah.
does happen, right? While he's continuously meeting up with the affair and got pregnant some more. But then the affair chose to just abort the baby or whatever. So it's got really complicated because the person just refused to make that decision. That's where I had to tell the other spouse, you know what, if you want to really build a healthy family environment for your kids, this is really something you have to think about and have a talk with him. And at the end of the day, if he's not choosing, I think he's waiting for you to make that decision.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes it's just tough when they're in situations like this. But in reality, actually most people struggle to just walk away.
Yeah.
They would choose to live with it and just close one eye and just
so
figure
they
out
rather
life.
just live with the pain that they know than the
Yes.
potential pleasure that they do not know.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard. If the wife is say 45,
Yeah.
you have two girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you divorce,
There's also the security aspect
so
as well.
who is going to date you and marry you?
Yeah.
So they have a lot of consideration, which I think it's really hard for them
Yeah.
when they're in that scenario. Yeah.
Most actually choose to just stay. Yeah.
They just let the marriage die, but they won't divorce each other.
Yeah, again, because I think a big consideration would be the kids.
Yeah.
For the sake of the kids.
Yeah.
Man, it's complex. Complicated.
Very complex.
Has there ever been a situation, Esther, where you're like, I give up on you guys, man. It's like, I quit you. Take your money back.
Of course. Of course. The story we shared with you earlier about how we waited 45 minutes for that counselling session to happen, it was I who gave up after
Okay,
that. It's
okay.
like, okay, I don't think I'm the right person to help you because clearly I can't.
Okay.
So that's where I have to draw a line.
But it's actually very interesting. Some of this, there's a preset value in their head. They don't see affair is sin, but they see divorce is a sin. So that's why he could continue in that affair, but still not divorcing the wife. I'm like, bro, why are you still here? Because
Wow.
he told me divorce is a sin. I said, what have you not done now that is not sin? He said, yeah, but the Bible says cannot divorce. So,
But adultery is fine.
yeah,
And affairs
adultery
are fine.
is not ingrained enough as compared to divorce. I don't know, maybe it was his upbringing. And by the way, those days we were so inexperienced. We've talked to so little couple. So we also don't think we have enough tools. We have handled church members that are older than us, also got divorced. We just felt sometimes we were just not at the season where we could handle older couple. You know, when they tell stories about the husband having affair, we spent like 2-3 months just in shock, not being able to take the next step, right? Like we just every night we just talk to each other. You think it's true? I think they're hallucinating. No, I think it never happened. No, I think it happened. So, yeah. So sometimes, just now actually you mentioned timing. Timing is a very critical part in a marriage, in any relationship. Sometimes one partner wants to work on it, the other
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
So to find that timing that matches each other, that's quite critical actually.
So just to hang on a bit in this topic of divorce, because it's a real thing that we face in the church, and it's blatantly stated in the Bible, you know. And that's why people can say, oh, divorce is a sin, because you can read it there.
Yeah.
How do we then handle it, you know, in terms of, when do we, like the question I asked, is it, you know what, it's healthier for you both to separate because maybe it could even be, the husband is physically abusive.
Yeah.
Then it's already for your safety.
Yeah.
And your life. Or what about marrying someone who's a divorcee, you know? Like how do we approach, what's our approach as a church, as a Christian community?
Okay, to answer that question, I have to first clarify that divorce is never an option in your marriage, right? So we must do everything, because once you divorce, you're opening up yourselves to all kinds of possibilities in the future. Doesn't work out, I just break it up. So, but say certain couples, it happened, they're already divorced and then they find somebody. I think to reinforce the value of why you cannot divorce in the scripture, because I always believe whatever that is taught in the scripture is for our benefit. So you don't want to step out of that benefit. So if they marry again, I would tell them, look, you are a divorcee. You have to make a promise to each other. So it's not during their wedding. It had to be done in their pre-marriage, you know, premarital counseling. You have to both recognize that this is an issue that happened in the past, but this can never be an option moving forward. If you cannot subscribe to this value, it is better for you to not marry than to marry. So it is my job to teach. It is not my job to live for them. So once they understand that, I will marry them. Because I also believe that God will give them a second chance. But I will never, ever let them subscribe if it's their first marriage. Because if you can divorce, you cannot build intimacy in a marriage. There's always that fear that if I do wrong, you will not want me. It is that promise that no matter what happened, that is why the one part of the vow that is so commonly known to everybody is for better or worse. So once we subscribe to that, really for worse, you will not leave me, that's when you create the security to keep growing deeper with each other. So if already happened, I got to reinforce that again before I will marry them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the struggle is to integrate that with the reality of just observing and, man, you guys are better apart.
Yeah.
And how do you, man? Because again, it's clear on paper.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not just on paper. We believe in the principle
Yeah.
because it comes with its blessings.
Yes.
But to really live that out and try to help someone live that out in their marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. And we cannot decide for them.
Yeah.
Right? Or tell them. A lot of them actually want you to tell them what to do so they don't feel as guilty when they do it,
it's
right?
like pushing responsibility upon.
So I usually refuse to do that, but I just help them just build themselves up, right? You just got to do the best that you can to work towards it, and I think see where that leads you. I think that would be the best advice to give them.
Yeah. Man, this is a very, very big topic.
Yep.
Because again, relationships are, I mean, we've pretty much been talking about marriage and romantic relationships, but it covers, again, like I said, so many grounds. Friendship and a lot of common area as well, like trust and communication, which we can't even get into today. So I think we'll do another round,
Sure.
another time. I think this has been great. But before we close, maybe one closing thought or statement from both of you, or a word of advice. Okay, let's make it more specific.
Yeah.
A word of advice right now to someone out there in how to be better in their relationship, a skill or a step that they can take to be a better partner, not to try to fix someone else, but they themselves, like, okay, how can I be a better partner? Start with Pastor Kevin.
Wow. I answer first, okay? To me, it's very simple and straightforward. It's a willingness to work on yourself.
Okay.
To me, as long as I commit to work on myself, there will always be hope and there will always be growth in the relationship. Yeah.
I would second that, but then if you want to go deeper with it, you got to know in relationship, you really cannot control how that person will become in the future, right? Or what circumstances would fall on you and affect your relationship. But you can only control what's within you. So if you decide for yourself, say, hey, you know what? I am going to be this kind of partner. For example, I'm going to be an honest, loving, and faithful partner, right? So that is your own commitment, and that is how you decide to show up. Whatever happens, you always fall back to these three things that you've decided right from the start. This is how I'm going to be. Even if your partner keeps blaming you, you know, they are at fault and whatever it is. But at the end of the day, hey, if I am a faithful partner, I will continue changing the relationship, work on it, grow it, and then that's where the person becomes more empowered to lead the relationship forward.
Wow. Thank you so much, Pastor Kevin
Pleasure.
and Esther.
Of course.
So just the final thing before we close, how can someone engage your services? What's the best way for them to contact you, Esther?
Through my Instagram, Esther Shaniku, you can drop me a DM and just have a conversation.
Yeah,
and let's
so we'll have
see.
the details here and in the description as well.
Yeah.
Instagram DM, that's the best way to contact the former Instagramless wife. Thank you so much once again for being a part of Hot Topics today, where we go into all things relationship. I think we will definitely have a second round with this.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Pastor Kevin.
Thank you.
And Esther.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. All right.
Till next time, see you guys. Take care.